These are the top 5 things we're afraid will ruin Xenoverse 3, and how Bandai can prevent each one, right? Because all of these things are completely preventable. It's all about, does Bandai want to take out the time and put in the effort that it's going to take to prevent all of these things from ruining the game, right? And the first thing on this list will be a bad netcode, right? And I understand that some people don't think it's that big of a deal, especially for offline players, right? And that's why it's number 1 for me. That's why it's number 1 for me. And when I say right, when I say top 5 things we're afraid will ruin Xenoverse 3, I'm talking about me and everyone else who agrees with everything I'm saying right now. Okay, which is a lot of people, right? Because a lot of people do care about the online, even though I know you may not. I did have someone commenting saying, oh, you only care about online. No, I care about offline and online, right? But I'm gonna play online more when I've done most of the offline content, obviously, right? So I want the netcode to be good, right? It shouldn't be a crime to want the netcode to be good. Here's some examples why a bad netcode will actually ruin Xenoverse 3, right? And what it did to Xenoverse 2's combat and how the game actually felt. When you had a bad netcode in the game, you would see your opponent suddenly teleport behind you, right? You would see characters skip frames across the map. Movement becomes unpredictable, right? Combos randomly drop. You start a combo and suddenly the opponent falls out of it for no reason. You get hit by attacks that missed. Phantom attacks, you guys. Like, there's literally phantom attacks in Xenoverse 2. You can be across the map and get hit by an attack that never hits you because the internet is that bad, right? That's one thing that I'll give Sparking Zero, is their netcode, it's bad, but it's not as bad as Xenoverse 2's netcode. Like, you don't have that happen in Sparking Zero, where someone does a punch across the map and it hits you while you're all the way across the map. That actually doesn't happen in Sparking Zero. Which is like horrible connection, by the way. That's the bare, like, that's in the gutter as far as the standard goes. But I'm just saying, like, the netcode has gotten slightly better over time, but it's still bad. Like, they really need to do their best to improve it for this game, and I will get into some ways that they can actually improve the netcode. I'm not just saying, oh, please, Bandai, improve the netcode, and not giving any real way to do it, okay? I'm going to tell you how, right? But you can clearly step vanish and dodge attacks, and they'll still hit you anyways, right? This is caused by latency disagreement between players on both screens, right? And the phantom grabs, those are one of the most annoying things in Xenoverse 2, right? You get hit by grabs as well, the same way how you can get punched across the map. You can get hit with a grab when they're not even near you. They're all the way across the map and someone can still grab you, and it's one of the worst feelings ever in any game. Like, it's unbearable, right? It's damn near unplayable. It's damn near unplayable, and that's why I haven't played online. I haven't played Xenoverse 2 in a while, because I'm not really interested in the offline content they're doing right now. I feel like they've been milking the DLC for years, and it's not interesting anymore to me, like the storylines they're doing. So I wouldn't play it for the offline content anyways at this point, because the offline content is trash in Xenoverse 2 right now. It wasn't when it first came out, but it's trash now. Okay, so I wouldn't play it for the offline content, and the online is unplayable for the reasons that I'm describing right now, right? And so, yeah, like I said, you have phantom grabs. You can be grabbed from far away, right? You could be all the way across the map, and it's free damage for the opponent. Like, what the fuck? How is that even possible, right? And I'll explain why it is possible, right? It happens because Xenoverse uses a peer-to-peer connection. So if one player has bad internet, both players suffer, right? The only solution is dedicated servers. This is the only solution to this problem for an arena fighter, right? And I know some people will mention rollback, but you can't have rollback in arena fighters, because rollback basically predicts your next move to prevent lag. But in an arena fighter, there's literally infinite possibilities of what you could do, so it's not reliably predictable. The only way that they could ever do that is if they had some type of dedicated rollback that was for arena fighters and somehow was able to calculate the possibilities in a different way than they're calculating it now. They would have to use some AI rollback that can literally calculate infinite possibilities. You know what I mean? Like, the rollback that they have now was created by a human. One guy created rollback, you guys. Like literally one man, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pretty sure one man created rollback. Like, he thought of the concept, and obviously he had help with the process, but one guy came up of the idea to how rollback would work, right? But for you to have rollback for an arena fighter, you would need an AI rollback that could literally account for infinite possibilities, which doesn't exist yet. And that's a fantasy technology. You know what I mean? That's fantasy tech, right? So we can't rely on anything like that. So the only way that they could fix it is by having a literal farm of servers. They would need dedicated servers on like a farm somewhere where like it's literally just a bunch of servers for us to use, for the Xenoverse 3 players to use. And that's the only way we would have good connection in an arena fighter. It's the only way, you guys. And I do think Bandai is pretty cheap, so they probably won't do it, unfortunately. So this is probably a shot that we don't see, but hopefully Bandai sees this, and hopefully they're willing to, that they realize that Xenoverse 3 is going to be the biggest game that they've ever created, because Xenoverse 2 was the best-selling Dragon Ball game of all time. I have heard people like Don Coolio, and a lot of other people say like, oh, Sparking Zero, like, you know, Xenoverse 3 could never sell as much as Sparking Zero. Yes, it will. Xenoverse 2 outsold Sparking Zero. You know what I mean? Xenoverse 2 has already outsold Sparking Zero. And Xenoverse 3 will outsell Sparking Zero as well. I don't know if it'll do as good at launch, but over time, it will 100,000%. If it does the things that I'm telling it to do, if Bandai does the things I'm telling them to do and doesn't mess up what I'm saying in this video, it will 100% beat Sparking Zero over time. Within a year or two, it will have more sales than Sparking Zero. If they do everything that I'm mentioning, right, in this video and make sure that these things aren't failures of the game. So number 2 is bad physics, right? So static hair, clothing, and accessories, right? Most hairstyles, tails, capes, or accessories don't react to motion or flight. They just clip to your character with zero physics or simulation. In a game where characters fly and dash around at high speeds, this lack of movement looks cheap and unrealistic. Like, it looks trash. Like, we're all dashing around in a Dragon Ball game. Why are capes static? You know what I mean? I'm going to explain why everything is like that. But I'm just saying, like, Bandai, I'm asking Bandai, why is this like this, right? I'm going to explain why it's like that, but why, Bandai? Why? Like, you know this is a Dragon Ball game. You know what you're supposed to be doing. So don't have this be a problem in Xenoverse 3. I understand there was limitations because Xenoverse 2 is built off of Xenoverse 1, which was a PS3 game. So I get that, you know? I understand that, right? But like I said, that lack of movement looks cheap. It looks unrealistic. Right? Hair doesn't sway, tails don't swing, capes don't blow in motion. It's trash, right? The physics are trash, bro. Fix that. Transformations that should have dynamic physics don't have them. For example, Super Saiyan hair doesn't flare out, right? We don't see any muscle changes when transforming. There aren't any proper dynamic animations or physics tied to them, right? Hair just changes color and style. It doesn't change the shape or the motion. It just changes the color or the style. The only time it changes the shape is when you go Super Saiyan 3, obviously, because they couldn't do that. They could, you know what I mean? You couldn't get away with that. So yeah, of course, it changes then. But yeah, we should have a little bit more customization to how our hair actually changes when we go Super Saiyan. I would love that. I would love if I could make my Super Saiyan 2 hair look different than a normal Super Saiyan 2's hair does. But I still have the sparks so people know it's Super Saiyan 2 or whatever you want. Or you could have a little UI element up at the top of the menu or at the top of where we're fighting. Not the menu, but like, sorry, the top of the character's health bar or whatever that shows what transformation I'm in, so it's not confusing when I have a custom aura and custom aura effects and different hairstyles than the actual transformation that I'm in, right? Because I did see someone comment that, which was a fair point. Someone commented that, oh, you wouldn't be able to tell what transformation, what form someone's in if you have all of these aura effects and you have all of these different hairstyles and different transformations and all of these customizable effects when you transform. Well, no, you actually could. That's completely false, and I understand the point you were making. I do, and that was a fair effort, but it's completely false because the only thing that you would have to do is add a UI element at the top of the health bar. Above the health bar, just have it say Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3. It's not that hard. So all someone would have to do is look at the top of the health bar. Above someone's health bar, there would be a UI element that literally says what form they're in. This is not difficult. This is easy. Okay, there's no excuse for why we shouldn't have as much customization as possible. I don't want to hear one single excuse in this world, okay? Except for pure laziness and carelessness, right? So there's actually a simple solution to fixing this problem, and we see it in newer games, right? And Xenoverse 2, unlike newer games that we've actually seen with physics engines for soft body movement and cloth simulation, Xenoverse 2's physics are mostly handcrafted, right? So it's mostly handcrafted animations and scripted effects, right? Which makes a lot of the movement feel static instead of following believable motion laws, even for like a Dragon Ball game, right? Because Dragon Ball does have motion laws, as crazy as that sounds. When I'm flying, my cape should blow in the wind, right? Like, there are believable motion laws even in DBZ. So we need to see those things, right? And all they need to do is, like I said, they would have to ditch all of these handcrafted animations and all of these scripted effects. Ditch that, okay? We need dynamic animations, right? Like I said, we need stuff that newer game engines are using, right? Like soft body movement, right? Like we need cloth simulation. We need all of these things. We need actual physics for the actual clothing that we're wearing. So in a game like, for example, obviously Xenoverse 3 is not like GTA 6 at all. I mean, it's the Dragon Ball's version of GTA 6, right? But it's not anywhere near that big of a scale. But in a game like GTA 6, they're using like cloth physics. Like they have actual physics for the individual clothing. It's not just a scripted animation. There's a physics rendering thing, like it's hard to describe it, but there's a physics system that is actually being used on the clothes in a game like GTA 6. So you will see the clothes have their own physics. It's dynamic. It's not made up or scripted. And that can be possible for a DBZ game. Bandai has the money, bro. They've made billions off of their games, I'm pretty sure. Right? Like, they've made hundreds of millions off these games, bro. Don't tell me that this isn't possible. It's out of pure laziness, right, that they won't do this. So I need to see these things. I'm not asking for too much. I'm asking for what we deserve. Okay? I don't want to hear any Stockholm Syndrome people in the comments telling me I'm asking for too much. What? We've been waiting for 10 years for this game. What do you mean too much? Xenoverse doesn't really lack content, it lacks identity. The customization looks deep at first, but once you actually play, everyone starts to feel the same as far as custom characters go. I'm not talking about the cast, right? I'm not talking about the cast characters. The cast characters actually do feel really different all the time, okay? Except for the ones when they like copy and paste some moves and they copy and paste certain things from another cast character. That's when it doesn't feel unique, right? And this kind of happens with custom characters, right? They start to feel the same because your aura is locked behind basic presets that you can't even customize. You can't customize how your aura actually looks. Your character's body, fighting style, and animations are all nearly identical to everyone else using that race. I mean, let's be real. So how custom is it, really? Like, how customizable are things really at that point? Right? So please fix that. You can't create a truly unique Saiyan or Namekian, or even a human. Just slightly different versions of the same template. There's no real control over aura effects, no custom combos, no fighting styles, and no real way to make your moves or playstyle visually stand out. Right? So even though you spent all that time building up your character, it doesn't feel as meaningful as it should when you go online. And that's exactly what Xenoverse 3 can't afford to get wrong. They can't not afford to get this wrong, you guys. Like, no. The gaming sphere is different than it was, bro. People don't put up with games that are trash as much. You seen how fast Sparking Zero died? You see how fast Sparking Zero died, you guys? Like, no, they can't afford to get this stuff wrong. I promise you guys, the game will die if they mess this up. Please, Bandai, don't mess this up, right? Please do these things right. I don't want to beg, but I'm begging. Like, this game needs to come out right. Like, come on, you guys. Number 4 is a bad story. If Xenoverse 3 fumbles the story, it could completely kill the hype, no matter how good the gameplay is. Right? Imagine if they just recycle the same time is broken again plot with no real stakes, where you're basically doing reskin missions from Xenoverse 2 with slightly different dialogue. Fans would instantly notice the cash grab. Or worse, they could sideline your custom character and make you feel like a background NPC, while Goku and Vegeta solve everything, which defeats the whole purpose of the game, right? Like, come on. Is this the Goku and Vegeta show, or is it going to be our custom character? Bad villains could also ruin the story, right? So if the villains are forgettable, or they're just rehashed versions of Mira and Toa with no real personality or threat to them, right, making the entire campaign feel pointless, that would ruin the story, right, for obvious reasons. Another thing that could ruin it is if they completely ignore fan favorite what-if scenarios, right? Like unique timelines, darker twists, right? Like things kind of like Gohan Black, right? Not exactly Gohan Black, but things along those types of lines. We want to see more what-ifs like that. If they ignore those things and they just don't do that stuff, then that's going to completely ruin the game, right? We want to see meaningful choices that actually change outcomes, right? It'll feel like wasted potential from a game with infinite possibilities if we don't see these things. At that point, people won't just say the story is mid. They'll start saying Xenoverse 3 is just a glorified Xenoverse 2.5 with better graphics, right? And that narrative alone could damage the game before it even gets a real chance to shine. And we don't want that. None of us want that. So come on, Bandai, just listen to what I'm saying in this video. I'm saying everything correct, right? Everything I'm saying is 100% factual, undeniable truth. right? And I'm open to hearing debate, obviously, but I'll crush anyone who tries to debate the facts that I'm spitting. That's just the reality of it. Okay, you guys? So number 5 is overhyping the game pre-launch and under-delivering on the release. This is what killed Sparking Zero, okay? And I'm gonna explain how and why that could kill Xenoverse 3, right? Imagine months of trailers promising next-gen graphics, in-depth customization, brand new transformations, and a deeper storyline, only for the game to feel like a slightly upgraded version of Xenoverse 2 with missing features and recycled content, which is exactly what happened to Sparking Zero, right? This killed Sparking Zero. They said Sparking Zero would have custom auras, they promised it would keep everything intact that made BT3 special, and Bandai and Spike Chunsoft completely lied about that. They shifted their focus to drip feeding the smallest amount of content possible, right, once they seen the game had already recouped its budget from the pre-orders, before the game even launched. Before this game even launched, Sparking Zero I'm talking about, it had already recouped its budget, right? So what they spent on the game was already recouped by the time the game had released. Once they saw that and they were like, oh yeah, this game launched, after the game released, it was just all profit. DLCs, all profit, you know? So they were like, oh yeah, no, fuck fixing the game. No, we already won. These idiots actually fell for this. They fell for our promotional bullshit. So right, but the thing is, the game died immediately afterwards. It was a quick cash grab, but it died immediately. It didn't last the test of time like Xenoverse 2 did. And that's exactly what could happen to Xenoverse 3 if they mess up. It'll be like an Overwatch 2 type situation. We don't want an Overwatch 2 type situation here, you guys. We really don't want that. The second players realize the same thing is happening with Xenoverse 3, the backlash would be instant. YouTube titles, Twitter clips, and reviews on Steam all calling it a disappointment at the same time. And once that narrative spreads, it's almost impossible to reverse it, because first impressions are everything. We all know that first impressions are so important, especially in today's gaming landscape. In today's gaming world, it's so important. The first time that you see things, the first time that you experience it, if it's trash, it's over. It's over. You don't get a second chance. All those people that tried Sparking Zero, they quit it. They realized it was garbage. You're done. Say goodbye, as Soul Illuminati would say, say goodbye. You know, like, come on, you got to get this shit correct, Bandai. Come on, right? At that point, even if the game has good features, nobody cares. The community labels it as a letdown, player trust is gone, and Xenoverse 3 goes from one of the most anticipated anime games of all time to just another missed opportunity. Nobody wants to see that. I think we can all agree that nobody wants to see that. And I am clearly outlining how Bandai can avoid this. Please, please like this video. Someone get this to Bandai. Someone make sure that Bandai sees this. Because if they don't see this, I'm afraid that they're going to make a lot of the same mistakes that they did with Sparking Zero. I'm afraid that Xenoverse 3 might not be the game that we all want it to be, that we all know it could be, the potential that we know it could live up to. And that would be one of the biggest devastations in gaming history for me personally, right? Because I love Xenoverse 2. I thought it was a fantastic game, probably the best Dragon Ball game to ever exist, right? And I know Xenoverse 3 could beat it. I know it could, if Bandai really does the things that I'm saying here. So Bandai, please listen to your fans, listen to the consumer. The consumer's always right. You know what I mean? I don't care what you're hearing in them board meetings. No. Scratch that. Scrap that whole crap. It's all bullshit. All right? Listen to what Rhyme Style is saying. Listen to what people like me are saying. Right? Listen to the consumers of your product. Forget what you're saying in those board meetings. Scrap all of that. All of that, toss it in the trash. You might as well just toss it all in the garbage, okay? It's worthless if we don't agree with it, because we're the ones who are going to be supporting this game. We're the ones who are going to be buying your product. You need to listen to what we're saying, okay? So if you guys enjoyed this video, like the video, subscribe, turn on notifications. It's Wealthy XP here. Tune in out. Be easy, y'all.